Five out basketball, five segments, five takes. This is the podcast for NBA conversations. This is Five Out Basketball, and it starts in 3, 2, 1.
We are going to transition because we have 5 segments like we normally do. And this first one is going to take a long time. This is probably one of our longer videos because we are doing, so we've done the top 10 for every position. You can't just do top 10 for all players. That's way too skinny. So we have the top 30 players in the NBA. It's going to be a lot of debating. And Everton, this is without a doubt the hardest segment I've had to do figuring out. I've recycled 2 papers just crumbled up because of how much I was erasing. I couldn't even read my handwriting anymore. This was awful to do, so bad. And there's gonna be a lot of disagreeing, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, with top 10s, there's a lot more room for us to agree on and stuff because it's just less names. And I feel like relatively you're gonna end up having the same 10 dudes. Top 30, bro, outside of maybe like top 15 or top 10, like it starts to get a little dicey, bro. I ain't gonna lie. After I was done making my list, I just left it alone. I knew if I kept looking at it, I was gonna end up doing what you did. So I was like, dude, I should just move this away from me because I know it's gonna just keep making me looking. I won't lie, it took me like an hour, low key, to just get comfortable because I kept I know like bro. After a while, I had to just be like, bro, I'm gonna just settle with this. I know there's gonna be some disagreements, gonna be guys that get left off. I'm just gonna have to live with it. And for all the people watching, it's a top 30, bro. It ain't gonna be perfect.
No, it is not. And
it's never gonna be perfect.
Me and Everton, we tend to agree a lot on here because we just are like that. This is probably the most debating we're gonna see in a segment, I feel like.
I think so. I definitely think so.
There's like a point where I was like, when I was going for 25 to 30, I was like, man, there's like 20 names I could fit here in this final 5. Like,
oh my goodness.
It's disgusting.
I'm not gonna lie. This made me realize how talented the league is right now. Like the struggle to get 30, like it felt like if I'm like, damn, if I got 20 more, if this was a top 50, I'd feel way more comfortable because I know I could at least have fit a lot of these dudes. But because it's pause, but because it's a top 30, like it's just like So
this is gonna be nerve-wracking. And so we're gonna do a couple honorable mentions. Me and Everton talked. We're only getting 3 because we could name 15 people, and that defeats the purpose of a top 30.
Yeah.
So Everton, do you want to go first for the honorable mentions, or do you want me to go first?
I guess since you introduced it, I'll go first.
Okay.
So first one is Malachi Flynn. Joking by the way, but that 50 ball,
that 50 bomb, him and GG Jackson, they were fighting to get on this list last night.
I know, bro, it's crazy, but
easily the worst 50 bomb of all time from a player, no question.
And they lost, crazy. But in all seriousness, Chet Holmgren, Lauri Markkanen, and Jamal Murray.
Man, your honorable mentions were nicer than mine is. I'm gonna let you know I have Lauri in my top 30. He made the crack for me.
It's fine. Okay.
Chet and Jalen Williams. I'm not gonna lie, I really tried to get him on the top 30. He's like, I can't do it.
Me neither.
They're going to be there though one day.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Maybe even by next year, but that's another day. Yeah.
Another day, another conversation. And Jamal Murray, I had him like when I was trying to get the final 5, I had him on the list. I wasn't really debating it too hard though. Nothing against Jamal Murray. I just only playoff riser, not enough regular season success for me to do that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm not glad. I think my honorable mentions might be a lot hotter than yours are.
Okay, what's yours?
Tyrese Maxey, who's on triple-double watch against the Heat right now.
Okay.
And my reasoning for this is just like, it was just a quick spurt. Like, this is the first season we've really seen like Tyrese Maxey like cook. So that's what really just cut him off for me. If he's right, like when I say 30, you can be like, all right, Joey, fuck off. He should totally be your 30.
Yeah.
It's so 50-50. It's just come eye test, I just like this player more. So I put him at 30. Not gonna say what it is yet. Okay. And then after that, I'd Karl-Anthony Towns. Didn't make the cut.
Ooh, okay.
And then this is probably the hottest one, but I push agendas here. I'm not gonna back up on BS claims. I did not have Paul George in my top 30.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm tired of the fake news media pushing this Paul George clout on your name. It's not it. Paul George has been slumping. There's 30 players that I'm more confident in Paul George right now, especially with how much of a mess the Clippers are. They're about to get bounced for round 1, and the Paul George legacy, people just ignore a lot of things. They ignore a lot of things about Paul George. My third eye's open now. I'm not letting that shit slide. So Paul George did not crack my list.
Okay, that's respect.
Yeah,
Respect.
yeah.
He's definitely on mine.
I'll say from
So
what I see, I think all three of those names are on Everton's list.
yeah.
Oh my
Wait, which three?
God.
Which three? PG.
Paul
You
George,
said
Cat, and Maxi.
no. Maxi's not on mine.
Okay. Man, people are gonna be offended by that. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't think they should be. It's if you listen to the names, it's kind of hard to argue him being on. I don't know. We'll get into
Mm.
it.
All right, so we're gonna go five at a time. So we're gonna go 30 from 26, and I'm gonna go first.
Okay, go ahead, bro. Cook.
At my 30, I have Cade Cunningham. At my 29, I have Rudy Gobert. 28, I have Lauri Markkanen. 27, I have Damian Lillard, and 26, I have De'Aaron Fox.
Okay.
Yeah, we're coming in hot.
So I have two of the same players.
Okay, let's hear it, and then
Um,
we'll discuss.
okay, so my 30 is Scotty Barnes.
Oh, I just snubbed him on my honorable mentions.
My 29 is Paulo.
Okay,
My 28 is De'Aaron Fox.
okay.
27 is Cat.
Mhm.
And 26 is Gobert.
Okay. First off, I just need to address this right off the bat. Thank you so much for putting Rudy Gobert in your top 30.
Yeah,
People
easy.
are so bogus. It is not even funny. Like, people need to realize being the best defensive player four times, well, about to be four, means
Mhm.
something.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just base it off of offensive bag. If you're consistently the best defensive player in the world, you are 100% top 30. So if you don't think Rudy Gobert's there, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. So I was really nervous he wasn't going to make your list. So I'm happy he did. Like, he
Mhm.
deserves the love for being that guy. And then we have De'Aaron Fox pretty much in the same range. I
Yeah.
have Paolo Banchero a little higher, so we'll talk about that sooner.
Oh, okay,
It's
okay,
it's not
okay.
it's not much higher. It's not much higher.
Okay.
And then who's your 30? Oh,
30
Scotty
was
Barnes.
Scotty Barnes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that's very ironic because my 30 is Cade Cunningham. But like the Raptors, it just it worries me, man. The Raptors have been like the Pistons you kind of expected to be bad. I really didn't expect the Raptors to be this bad. Scotty Barnes, he's still all around great, but Cade Cunningham, I just watch him play and like even though the Pistons are losing, he's still hooping every night. And like when you get like a 6'7" guard that can attack the rim, can pass the ball. I have a thing for that. I have a thing for tall guards. I'm not gonna lie.
Which
But
is fair.
Cade Cunningham, it's just I think when you watch him play, like you should be able to say, oh, that's a top 30 player in the league, even though it's the
So
Detroit Pistons.
so you got Cade over PG.
Yeah.
Why, I guess, is I know PG's been slumping, but
Mm.
outside of the slump, what really did it for you? Is the slump what did it for you?
Put Paul George on the Pistons and they have less wins than they do now.
Oh,
Yeah.
yo.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
mad at the hot
I'm
take.
so serious. I think Cade's a solid enough defender. He's a better facilitator. He's getting to the rim and like they're both not the best shooters, but
Turnovers?
I trust Cade getting into the rim more.
Well, now PG shoots 40% from three.
Mm. I don't care. Nah, these slumps be too inconsistent. And like I know Cade hasn't gotten that playoff run, but I know I'm getting from Paul George in the playoffs when he's not his first 2, 3 years in the league. Like
Okay.
I'm tired of the Paul George hype up. He's the most overrated player of all time. I'm standing on business.
Wow. Hey,
Yeah.
y'all are hearing it. Okay. I
Mm.
disagree, but I'm not mad. I love hot takes, especially when they're at least somewhat logical,
Mm.
somewhat. So I can respect it. Personally, Cade's not top 30 for me. I think he's definitely top 50 if that was like the criteria.
Okay,
But
okay. He's gotta be at least be top 40. Let's not be disrespectful
or
now.
no, I'm saying something like obvious. Like he
Okay.
obviously he's top 50. Top
Yeah.
40, there is some name.
Mm.
Hell, we'll not do that. But
Yeah. Yeah.
nonetheless, I'd still take PG. And then who else was on your who else was you we
Rudy
have
Gobert,
Fox
Laurie,
Gobert.
Dame, and Fox.
Okay, so okay, what made you have Dame in your top 30?
Dame's not in your top 30. Dame's
Nah,
not been that bad.
he kind of has. But
Like
let me tell
I'm
you
saying
why.
he's like been underwhelming, but I don't think Dame's been that bad and
Let me
still
tell
not
you
be a
why.
top 30. Okay, let's hear it.
So when I look at one thing I will say, I do like defense, but I
Mm,
don't always hold it to like the highest degree. But when you're okay, when the Bucks, right? When because he's on the Bucks, obviously, right?
mhm.
Offensively, he hasn't lived up at all. And that
Yeah.
was really why they traded for him because of his offense. They knew his defense wasn't going to be a thing. So they figured, all right, we'll have his kind of cone level defense, but he'll bring us 30 points per game. He's been struggling the whole season. And granted, early on we saw the struggles. We figured they were going to stop. So that's why we still had him ranked. Like I looked at my old PG's list. He was low, but that's because I figured at some point bring himself back up, right?
Mhm.
He has not done that, right? He's had like a good game, and then he'll just have some shitters, right?
Yeah.
And you have to consider with him having the shit games that he's having, he's also not playing defense. Like honestly, his defense might have gotten worse, which
Yeah.
is kind of bad because the bar was already low. But his defense
Mm.
might have gotten worse with his offense depleting and his defense. And I think also the level of other players in the league going up. It's kind of like that
Mm.
thing where you're dropping and everybody's getting better too. So
Yeah,
it's only
yeah.
going to make you go lower.
Mm.
So when I looked at the names on those lists, I felt like I honestly would have these guys higher. Now, with all respect to Dame, this means no disrespect. And for me, it's really just this season. I do
Mm.
hold a little bit of longevity, but I don't try to, make that the end all be all because at the end of the day, we're talking about this season for the
Mm.
most part, right? I would
Yeah,
I
but
would assume
past has to matter. Like you got
has to matter a little bit.
it's
Yeah.
really just top 30 like when you just players straight up. Like you can't just consider this season because then it'd just be an MVP race at that point.
True, which is okay. That's fair. That's fair. But Dame has just been so underwhelming to me, and
Mm.
just considering that his defense has been worse, ironically, and his offense has been like no. And then like even, like his comprehension. I'm not let me not say it like that. But
Okay.
like the things that we thought his strengths would bring to the Bucks have not been strengths. Outside of just not shooting as well as he used to, his assists haven't really moved at all. And he's not making the right reads sometimes, right? I've seen
Mhm.
clips. The man's not making the right reads. And I just think like I'd rather have these guys. So hot take, maybe that's my hot take. You
Mm.
had no PG on your top 30,
Uh-huh.
so no Dame is my hot take, I
Yeah.
guess.
So I think my kind of thing is like I believe Dame and Paul George definitely like fell down. Like if we're going like 2 years from now, like I think they're both falling down have fallen down the top 30 list, but I think I just had Dame higher than Paul George in the first place. So while they're going down, I think that's just what knocked Paul George out. Because like, has Dame been underwhelming? Absolutely, but it's just hard to like, what team really wouldn't want Damian Lillard? Like, I don't think he's like that washed. And like,
Hmm.
the Bucks and Clippers have both been crap shows throughout the season, but they've both shown their highs. And I still trust the Bucks more than the Clippers. And so I'm riding with Dame. I don't think
That's
he's been
fair.
bad enough to knock him out of the top 30. Paul George, I don't care. You've done enough to fall out of my top 30 just because like I liked Dame more. Like he was probably closer to cracking the 10 than Paul George was for me. So
Yeah.
like with them
Hmm.
falling down the list is like Paul George was one to fall down. Like Dame's getting real close.
Okay. That's okay. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So that's my thinking. Anything else you want to add on before we go to 25 to 21?
Honestly, no. I think that was a good conversation. I'm ready to keep going.
All right, perfect. Because at 25, I have Paolo Banchero. So I said not much higher. He's pretty much same exact spot.
Okay.
24, I had Jalen Brown.
Hmm.
23, I had Kyrie Irving.
Oh, whoa.
20,
Okay. Okay.
22, Bam Adebayo, and 21, Domantas Sabonis.
Sabonis. Okay.
Sabon
Okay.
I'm just gonna keep it real. Sabonis is a stat merchant. I don't really care how high up he is in the MVP race at the moment. Joakim Noah was like top 3 at some point. I don't think anybody ever considered him top 15 in the league, respectfully. It's like
Hmm.
I don't really care how high he is in the MVP race. He's like 6 at the moment. It doesn't move me. Sabonis isn't going to help you out on defense, and he's not going to be spectacular enough to help the Kings like in the playoffs. So I just don't
Yeah.
have him too high on my list. So
Okay.
I think because if you don't do anything in the eye test, it's off statistics, you're like, oh, Sabonis is a top 10 player in the league. Like you can't.
Okay.
I feel like there's a mistake some people make. Is you can't have everything based off stats. The eyes
Mhm.
have to matter at some point, and if you have a brain, you know Sabonis isn't like cracking higher than 20 in my eyes.
That's fair. Okay. So what, it's 25 to 20?
21.
21. Okay, 25 to 21. All right. So at 25, I have Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
24, I have Paul George. So
Hmm.
it's not like he was far off out of being
Whack. No,
it's not
but
like he was far off out of being out of my top 30.
yeah.
So yes, I wasn't arguing him being 15 or some shit. So
Hmm.
don't get it twisted. 23, I had Trey Young.
Okay, now keep
Work
going,
with
keep
me.
going.
Actually, no, no, no. Audible. I'm sorry to do it mid Audible
Okay.
because I'm looking at the names. I'm gonna move Jalen Brown to 23.
Okay.
22, I'll go Trey Young. 21, Zion.
So some of those names I'm gonna have a little bit higher up on the list. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really hate the range because like I don't think you have them like spectacularly low. I
Hmm.
think Trey Young is a move away from the Hawks of being back higher up on this list. It's just that's what
True.
the Hawks does to a man.
Yeah.
Zion, not gonna elaborate on too much just because we're gonna be talking about him in depth later. So
Yeah.
not phased too much about that one. And then who else did we say? Jalen Brown, we have in the same exact range. And who
Yeah.
else?
I had PG at 24 and I had
Mhm.
Hallie at 25.
Yeah, Hallie, I think's too low out of all those guys. Like I don't like have him like cracking too high, too high. Like I'm gonna say his name shortly, but
Mm-hmm.
I know he's had the rough months since the injury. But like before the injury, Tyrese Halliburton was like making claims like be cracking like the top 15.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not letting his recovery from an injury let him go too low on my list. You know what
Well,
number was it?
he was 25, but you know me, I don't know if you remember, but you've been higher on Hallie than I have,
Yeah.
to be honest. So this is kind of where I see him at. Like even pre-injury, I'd say I probably would have had him looking at the names maybe a little bit higher, but relatively I would have had him in maybe like a few spots higher, but I wouldn't have had him like crazy levels higher. And I just also,
Okay.
like I said, as the season's gone on, it's not even really about how he's fallen.
Mhm.
Other players have just really elevated over the
Yeah,
past few months.
absolutely.
So I feel like that's really what did it for me too. But I'm not calling him a fraud.
Yeah.
Definitely not. But yeah, that's what did it for me. Like other guys are just low key getting better. So it's
Mhm.
like gotta pass him up.
Yeah, it's just I just have too much faith in his shot and his playmaking. I just think his playmaking is some of the best in the NBA, and that's something I'm always gonna hold to a high standard because I like passing the ball. I like players that can do more than just get a bucket, and he can still give you like 20 or 15 on any given night.
Hmm.
I love the ball movement. Pause. But I have a lot of faith in Halliburton, so I can't let him fall off too much after this slump. But let him not start get cooking again, and the Pacers get bounced convincingly around one, and then he might be closer to 25 range. But it's just the first 4 months of 5 months of him this season was just I was moved.
Yeah,
I
I
had him very
understand.
high up on my top five or my top players in the next 5 years. So
Yeah,
Tyrese Halliburton, let's get cooking so I don't get on
and
his
that
stupid allegations.
because that's what I'm saying. Like you had him pretty high. I didn't, and
Mhm,
I feel like we view him different. I still view him relatively the same as you, but I don't see as much compared
mhm.
to you do. Which again, we're two different people, so
Yeah,
perfectly fine.
yeah.
But one more thing I wanted to address too, like when it comes to top 30s, I feel like even like placement doesn't matter crazy. It's more
Mhm.
like it's almost like a tier. Like
Yeah.
I watch a lot of NBA YouTubers and some of them, not some, maybe like a few or two or three of them I've seen where they do videos like this, and what they'll do is just have tiers of players. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, that's the good approach. Because then you don't really get flamed for you had him 18, he should have been 16, you know?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, like I feel like tiers are, like that's really what this is. It's not even
Mhm.
really like this guy could have been, because at the end of the day, I feel like relatively people are going to be where they should be. You might have some people 2, 3 spots higher or lower. It's all just kind of a tier thing.
Yeah, respectfully, I want the heat. I don't care.
No, no, no. I
I'm
love
here
it.
for some views.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Trust me, I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so to get back on, we're gonna go 20 to 16 because at 20 I do have Tyrese Halliburton, so like I had him 5 spots
Oh,
above Everton, which wasn't like a
okay.
crazy skyrocket. It's just we've seen a lot of teams that like embrace like the fast paced, no defense offense. And I think Tyrese Halliburton's the best guard in the NBA. Like I know we like De'Aaron Fox and all that, but no one is running that offense and is passing as well and as efficient as Tyrese Halliburton. So I'm still gonna show him his respect, have him at 20. But above him, I have Trey Young at 19. 18, I have Jalen Brunson. 17, I have Zion Williamson. And 16, I have Jimmy Butler. So I have some names a little bit higher than Everton.
Okay. So 20, I had Sabonis,
Okay, yeah, pretty much same exact thing.
right? 19, I had Bam.
Okay.
This is gonna be funny. 18, I had Jalen Brunson.
No, that's fire. That's fire.
17, I had Kyrie,
Okay.
and 16, I had Wemby.
Okay. Okay. Gonna comment on that one a little bit later. But to
Hmm.
start off, I think our big difference is Kyrie. I had him at 23 and you had him at 17. What
Yeah.
has him higher up on your list?
Honestly, I think he's impacting winning more than some of these other guys are. Like I know
Mhm.
some of these other guys are in different situations, so I can't blame them for, what's in front of them. But I'm not gonna lie, bro. Second option Kyrie has been really good this
It's
year.
one of the best
Like
second options of just straight up all time.
exactly, like legitimate, exactly, right? So I feel like with that level of impact, I know he's been kind of off and on with injuries and stuff, but now that he's been like pretty much healthy, like consistently, the Mavs are starting to win games. And like I
Mhm.
said, him as a number two has been like, yo, like genuinely amazing. So that kind of boosted him for me.
Mm,
Now I can understand why he's lower. Like I said, it's all kind of just a whatever. But yeah, that's why I got him at 17 because I just really
yeah.
value him being one of the best, if not the best second option in the league right now. You could argue, or a second behind another guy. But
Mhm.
regardless, I think Kyrie's one of the three best second options in the league right now.
Yeah, absolutely. But that reasoning is what deflated him for me. It's just the guys that have above him are just the number one options on their team. And it's just
Mm,
when you're doing a top 30, like being a second option is great and all. Like you can still crack the top 30, like with Jaylen Brown and all that. But when we get to
mhm.
the upper end, I just value being a number one guy on your team more.
Yeah.
And love Kyrie. He's so fun to watch, but he's never been like I mean, he's had opportunities to be the number one guy. The teams just don't have success when he is. And that's something I think it's always going to haunt him for me. So that's why,
Mhm.
I mean, I know 23 is like, oh, Joey, so much disrespect. He's not 17. But it's just like that's what like docked him some points for me, just because you watch Kyrie so fun to watch, but just
Yeah.
I gotta respect being a number one option more. So that's why I had him a little bit lower.
Wait, quick question.
What's up?
Who are some of the number one options you had above Kyrie
Like,
that we've
okay,
named already? No, that we've already named, not like way up in the list because those I
got
won't
you.
argue, but like that we've
Well,
named.
Sabonis, Halliburton, Trey Brunson, Zion, and Jimmy Butler.
Hmm. Okay. So do you think Sabonis is really the number one on the Kings?
It's 50. They're both like no. I don't think you can compensate either of them are number one.
Yeah. And then with
But
Trey
it's just when it
Young,
comes to Mavericks, you know who's number one.
yeah. Okay, so when it comes to Trey Young, I get it. You value the number one, but what has he really done? I know he's been to the conference finals 3 years ago and stuff, but no, I'm saying compared to Kyrie as a number one, like they kind of both achieved the same. Like now, let me put it in context. Different level of teams because those Celtics teams are definitely better than the Hawks teams. But regardless of that, like what really set Trey Young apart as a number one for you compared to Kyrie?
His passing.
I figured that was the main thing.
Trey
Is
Young's
that
a
also
great
what it
passer, and he can still get you like 25, 30 points a game.
as efficient as Kyrie?
Okay, maybe not as efficient, but Kyrie Irving's not never giving you the 10 assists on a consistent basis. It's just not
True.
going to happen. So I think when you're building like a team, I would much
Hmm.
rather build my team around Trey Young than Kyrie Irving.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. What about Hallie? Hall is it the same thing with Halliburton
Yeah.
passing? Okay.
Mm.
Who's the other one? Zion.
Yeah. Zion's just more electric. And I respect point forward Zion, man.
Okay.
I'm tired of the Zion slander about him. Like, I don't want. I'm not talking about it. We're talking about it next segment. I'm gonna hold off on Zion.
Okay.
But
And
I'm gonna write that down. We're gonna bring up Kyrie later.
okay. And then Jimmy Butler was the other one. I'm not arguing with that one. Nope. Not arguing
You
with that one.
can't.
Definitely not arguing.
You what?
He's coming up soon. So
Yeah,
yeah,
are
not
you ready to
arguing with that
argue
one.
about Jimmy Butler?
Okay, yeah, what's up?
You had Wembanyama at 16, right?
Yeah.
I have Victor Wembanyama at 15, which would be one spot above Jimmy Butler.
Okay.
Then 14, Ja Morant.
Mm-hmm.
13,
Oh,
Anthony
we're counting
Edwards.
Ja?
Yeah, you have to. Ja's easily a top 30 player in the
He
league.
easily is. I just didn't count him because he played like 7 games this year.
Yeah.
So I figured we were gonna
That's
really
why
count
like
him.
when it was like top 30, I wasn't trying to like think just this season, just top 30
Okay.
players in the NBA. So I
Damn.
had Ja at 14.
Okay.
Good luck on
Okay.
that audible.
Yeah.
Okay, worst guy. I'm gonna have an asterisk next to my John Morant just because
No,
Everton
yeah,
didn't consider.
you can keep him there. I'll still go with my list. And
Okay, so
I'll just preface that Ja didn't make it because of him not playing much this year.
okay, got you.
Hmm.
So yeah, so 15 Wemby, 14 Ja, 13 Anthony Edwards, 12 Kawhi Leonard, and 11 Anthony Davis.
Wow. Okay. Um 15, Anthony Edwards.
I know it's only two spots lower. Why am I so disrespected?
14, Jimmy Butler.
Uh-huh.
13, Donovan Mitchell. 12, Devin Booker. 11, Kawhi Leonard.
Man, I cannot wait to see what's coming up because I have Booker and Mitchell much higher on my list.
Fair.
To
So should I
Anthony
address?
Edwards at 15. Man,
Look,
I know I have him at 13, but like I don't think I can confidently say I know 14 players better than Anthony Edwards at the moment. Like I'm not trying to say he's like top 8, top 10,
mhm.
but the only reason the Timberwolves are good is he's the only guy that can score the ball on that team, and that's something I'm
Cat,
always gonna show respect for.
no cat love. Damn.
Well, I mean, Cat's dead now, unfortunately, but like
So do you want me to address the Wemby thing now that
yeah,
or
yeah, right
I
off the
guess
bat,
for
sorry to cut you off, my fault. Wemby's easily in this range. I'm sorry. Like if you're still holding the rookie tag on him, what are you doing? No,
stop.
no one is just like on an off night almost dropping a quad dub.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I even and shoot, I kind of feel bad having him at 16. He could have
Mm.
damn near been 10. But
Dude, can I tell you a crazy take I was really debating, but like
what?
I did not have the balls to do it. I really want to put him in the top 10 over LeBron. I really did. I'm not gonna lie, I really did. I thought about it. It's like I
Oh,
can't do that one just yet. But
not yet.
next season, I'll confidently
Yeah,
doing
I
it.
think he'll definitely be confidently top 10. But okay, with Anthony Edwards, right? So, damn, this is why I hate doing top 30s because I felt confident about it, and then my kind of
Mm.
ideology kind of switched up towards the
Are the
bottom
lights too
half.
bright, Everton?
Like, I don't know. Like, so obviously, like I said about Dame, it's this season. But
Hmm.
for some of these dudes, I think they've been up to par this season. And plus what I know what they've done before. So maybe that's
Yeah.
kind of a
You always have to consider what they've done before in a top 30.
right.
Always have to.
So with them, they've still kept up, if not even been better, right?
Hmm.
Whereas Dame fell, just
Yeah.
addressing that. So with Jimmy Butler over Anthony Edwards, one, Jimmy's actually having an underrated season for his standards. I know he doesn't really try in the regular season, but he's still actually having a great season. And then we know he did this in the playoffs, bro. Like I
Yeah.
can't just wipe that out of my head. Like it's the thing that we know with Jimmy. So I'll
Mm.
give him that. Donovan Mitchell, D Book, look, those two will always be right next to each other. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah. I
Um,
do agree.
right. So and honestly, I just think these next 10, 11 players are better than are better than those two. But again, I couldn't have them like a spot. Like I had to have them next to each other. You just have to have Booker and Mitchell next to each
I
other,
can't confirm I do.
right? And then I
Yeah.
do think there's both still better than Anthony Edwards. So that's why he's
Mm.
15 in there, 11, 12, and then Jimmy's 14
I
or
agree on that.
12, 13, and then Jimmy's 14. And then you know what I'm trying to say. And then Kawhi is 11 because look, or was you named Kawhi, didn't you,
Yeah,
right?
I'm at 12.
Okay, so well, we have him relatively the same spot. With Kawhi, I think these dudes are still. I feel like he used to be a top five, top six type of guy, and I just feel like a lot of these dudes kind of passed him,
Hmm.
despite him actually being good this year.
He's
I
been great
think
this year.
right, he's been really good this year, but I think a lot of people since the time he was a top five player have kind of just elevated, and
Hmm.
I think that's what brought him down. But not to, you know, shit on Kawhi. I think he's still been really good. I would still take these players over Kawhi.
Yeah, I just wish I also good at basketball. Being put at 12 would be considered shitting on me.
I know
But
that
like,
is crazy.
yeah, it's just Kawhi's still having a great season. It's just I know he's a playoff riser, but I always value all 82 games, and just these guys are more consistently better in the regular season, so I have them there. But you
Okay,
have Anthony Davis in your top 10, is that correct?
yeah, I do.
Give me your list first before we start talking about it, because I have him at
So
11.
10 to 6.
Yeah,
Okay, so oh man, I was this one I was ready for because I knew this would be hot.
yeah,
10 Curry,
okay,
9 KD,
uh-huh.
8 LeBron. You good?
I fucked up my racing.
What happened?
I raced him to put him lower, but I wrote like I didn't forgot to fill his name back in, so I forgot to write Kevin Durant. I fucked up my list.
Oh no.
God damn it. I knew something had to be wrong. Fuck. Okay. Now keep going. I'm gonna audible this while you're talking.
Okay, so yeah, 10 Curry, 9 KD, 8 LeBron, Tatum 7, and AD 6.
6?
Mm-hmm.
That okay, that's crazy. Also, just okay, I'm gonna wait till I get to my list to do this audible. But 6? How in the
Yeah.
world is Anthony Davis 6 over like the rights of like Curry and all that?
So here's my thing with AD. He's always been this level of player. It was just about him playing. He's playing
Mm,
this year. He's
yeah,
playing this year. He's literally played like 70 games this year. So I can't use the whole availability thing. That's out the window.
yeah,
He's played this year. Two, there's probably like two guys I can say are better defensively than AD. And I even feel like I'm reaching because you can
mm,
legitimately make an argument that AD is the best defensive player in the league.
yes, you can.
Like that Lakers defense, no. That's the Anthony Davis defense. Like
Mm,
he is their defense. And then on the offensive side of the ball, bro, AD's been super dominant. Like genuinely he's been super dominant. And I feel like we're really getting to see like AD at his best. And I feel like AD at his best is better than a lot of these dudes. I think, okay, so I'll address the people below him since you
yeah,
made that face. So with Curry, you have to consider Curry's having a down year for Curry standards, obviously. For Curry standards, obviously. Um, but I try to stay a little consistent. I brought players down for having down years, so I brought them down a little bit. And I think a lot of these dudes have actually been low key performing better than Curry. With KD, again, he's having a great year, a Kevin Durant-esque type of year, but the defensive side of the ball, I think with KD would always hold him back, especially as more players are getting versatile. KD is really just a great scorer and kind of average at everything else, right?
Yeah.
Like his passing it's average, his rebounding average, his defense maybe like above average for defense when it comes to Kevin Durant. But I feel like compared to AD, AD's like a all defensive first team type of defender. KD is
Hmm.
kind of he's a solid defender. And then offensively speaking, while AD can't won't huss, right? AD's still gonna get you the same numbers, like
Hmm.
at least scoring numbers. He'll probably still put up the same points as KD while still being a better rebounder, way better defender. And then obviously not passing. I'm not gonna hold that over him. But I just feel like KD is really just a high level scorer with average other, like
Hmm.
levels. So that's why he's there. LeBron, I think AD's just been better than LeBron. I feel like we've all come to the realization that AD is the best player on the Lakers, right? Or maybe not. Well, no, clearly not. You don't feel that way. But I think AD is the engine to that Lakers team, and they can only go so far as he takes them. I know I'll give LeBron the versatility thing. He's still a great passer, still a solid
A
rebounder.
great
He's
passer.
yeah, phenomenal.
I think
Probably the
he's like a top five or top six in assists per game.
exactly. So he's still phenomenal at that. Shooting 40% from three this year.
Hmm.
That's why I have him above Curry.
Yeah.
Joking. But like
Uh,
eh, you know, and defensively, he's just, it's LeBron. Like he's
mm.
not a terrible defender, but he's 39. I'm not gonna hold that over him
Yeah.
crazy. But at the end of the day, AD's been a way better defender, right?
Mm.
While still being the engine to the Lakers. And points per game, I think, is higher than LeBron's. And then rebound, like I said, like all the other, like a bunch of things I think AD's is doing better than LeBron.
Okay.
That's how I feel. And
So
then
for
Jason Tatum,
oh,
come on. You
okay.
so you
So
think Tatum's better than AD?
yeah, we're gonna. I absolutely do believe Tatum's better than AD. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna address a lot. First thing, everyone after Anthony Davis is being slid down one, so Cade Cunningham's off the list. I'm gonna put KD at 12.
Okay.
Address that
Oh
first.
wow.
Secondly, have to consider the past. Like I know that's something we talk about a lot. AD, the consistency in the playoffs is still something I've yet to see yet. So that's why I can't give him the jump over LeBron yet. Dude, when the Nuggets performance, when he was like
Oh,
hooping and all that, and then just out of nowhere would shit the bed one night, I need to see it
mhm.
consistently in the playoffs before I have him jumping over some of these guys. And
Okay,
secondly, just
wait.
what's up?
Outside of that series, what else has he been inconsistent to you?
I mean, how about when the time he was with the Pelicans with DeMarcus Cousins when he was the number one guy and this was supposed to be his opportunity to cook, and that Pelicans team kept underwhelming?
Well, they only had 1 year. First off, Boogie never even played in the playoffs when he was on the Pelicans.
Hmm.
And second, because you're talking about 2018, I'm
Yeah,
assuming that's the year they beat the Trailblazers, who were the third seed, and they were the sixth seed. Swept Dame, and
yeah.
80 was letting his nuts hang,
Hmm.
right? Then they go up against a Warriors team who it's the Curry, KD, Clay, Draymond Warriors. I'm not gonna hold that over AD. He
Yeah.
still was good in that series, but again, I'm not gonna hold that over him. I think they even won a game or two. I don't remember, but nonetheless, he did good in those playoffs. So I can't blame that on AD, especially with Boogie tearing his Achilles or
Hmm.
tearing his ACL, whatever.
Okay, real quick, 6 through 10 before I continue this argument.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
go ahead.
10 LeBron James, 9 Devin Booker, 8 Donovan Mitchell, 7 Steph Curry, 6 Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Okay. Anyways, when we get into this, I just don't think it's enough to. I mean, I think you can argue Donovan Mitchell, but I think Mitchell has just been awesome. Like he was great in the Utah days, and what he's done for Cleveland, he kept his team afloat, keeps his team responsible. So, again, I respect the number one over number two. I can't confidently say. I mean, this season, yes, but Donovan Mitchell's had more consistency as the number one guy and has shown more success so far. And Devin Booker led a Suns team to the finals himself. LeBron's LeBron. I'm not putting AD over him yet. Sorry. And then Steph Curry, considering the pass I just think is so important, and I can't put that over AD yet. If AD is the number one guy for the Lakers like this season and continues it into the playoffs and the Lakers start cooking, he can make this jump to number six. But I just cannot crack it in the top 10 yet. I cannot see that, unfortunately.
Dang.
And with him,
Okay.
like, this is the part that sucks. I know it's because he had like put on weight to bulk to be a center.
Hmm.
Bless you.
Thank you.
But like the 3 point shot, Anthony Davis like evaporated, which is something that really hurt me to say because I know that he had a bulk up to be a center, so it's kind of hard to get the jump shot in. But
Hmm.
that's something that really hurt me as well. And again, if he continues to be the number one guy and the Lakers have success in the playoffs, I promise you next time we do a top 30, he's gonna be higher up on the list. It's just that pass is gonna not haunt me because oh, you're 11th in the NBA. but I can't give him that jump to almost crack in the top 5 yet. There's no way.
Okay.
And then where'd you have Jason Tatum?
7.
That's hating. That's straight up hating. What in the world?
Bro, if okay, I feel like the 6 guys I have above him are better than Tatum, bro. I know best player, best team, but I don't know. I just think these 6 dudes are better than Tatum, bro.
Okay, and
Simple
then
as that.
do you have anything else to say about LeBron, Booker, Mitchell, Curry, Alex, Shea before we get into the top 5?
Shea was 6 for you?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't really have much to say about that. Yeah.
Okay,
I feel
then
like got my AD take off and
yeah.
yeah.
Then let's crack this top 5.
All right, let's do it. You first or me?
I'll go first.
All right, go ahead.
I already know one disagreement we're gonna have. We talked about this a little bit of Milwaukee yesterday, but
Hmm.
5 Tatum, 4 Embiid, 3 Giannis, 2 Luca, 1 Jokic.
Okay.
My list racist as hell.
Wait, so wait. So you just got on me for having Tatum at 7, bro, and you have him at 5?
Okay, being top 5, like I feel like the top 5 border is a huge difference.
I guess saying
That I
your
mean, I
top
know
5
like
versus
yeah,
top
I know like
7.
saying like 25 to like 20 is not a big thing, but I feel like once we're getting to like the elite, that
Mhm.
top 5 border matters.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so 5 I have SGA,
Okay.
4 I have Embiid,
Hmm.
3 I have Luca, 2 Giannis, 1 Jokic.
Okay, do we want to start with Tatum Shea or do we want to start on Luka Giannis?
Let's go from the bottom to the top. Let's go
Okay.
Tatum Shea.
More success with Tatum over time. Like it's just he's been there at the top longer compared to Shea, whereas Shea's kind of been like a 2 season thing. So that's
Hmm.
kind of hold there, and they're both still the best of the best right now. So that's really what I think you have to look in the past. And Tatum is also an elite defender like Shea is. Can still get you a bucket. Like I trust Tatum's 3-point shot more than I trust Shea's shot, and they could both get in the paint and the mid range. And then when you consider those aspects, and then just more time being at the top, I just have to give Tatum that slight one over Shea.
I mean, I guess that's fair. I mean, I feel like this is the highest Tatum's ever been.
Yeah, and for only being 19.
He's only 19, but look, for me with Shea, right? I can give you that part with the longevity thing with Tatum. Granted, it's probably only been about 2 or 3 years of him realistically being a top like 5 to 7 player,
No, but
right?
not even just top 5 to 7, but like Tatum definitely was like been in the top 10 range longer than Shea. Shea's been here for 2 seasons.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's fair, right? But as you can see, I don't really. It's mostly this season for me in a
Yeah.
way. But
See, I
for
think
me, right?
that's the big difference is our perspective on the list. While you more
Yeah.
focused on like this season, I
Mhm.
tried to focus on everything. Act like I don't have Victor Wembanyama at 15, but like I try to consider a lot for the past as well, like a top 30.
Mhm.
If
And that's
it was an
fair.
MVP voting thing, this would be a different conversation. Because if it was
Yeah.
MVP this season, Shea's 100% over Tatum.
And that was my next point with Shea. I feel like Tatum's never reached possible MVP, right? Like he's been like a guy who could finish 4th or 5th and stuff like that. I think Shea finished top 5 last year, and
Hmm.
we weren't even a playoff team. And then this year, he's literally been like number 2 to number 3 pretty much the whole season, it feels
Yeah.
like. So I feel like with that, I feel like I'm not gonna say he's peaked higher than Tatum, but
Hmm.
like he's at least reached an MVP, especially in an MVP year or like era of MVPs where you have Jokic just literally going to be perennial MVP candidate. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
Giannis literally having his best season, and people are just like, eh. Yeah. Embiid, who was pretty much the MVP before he got hurt. Let's just call a
Mm.
spade a spade. Luca, dude, it's Luca. And for
Yeah.
Shea to still be a guy who people are like, Shea could actually be MVP this year. I feel that's impressive compared to Tatum. It's like, yeah, I like Tatum.
Mm.
He's definitely one of the best players in the league. And that's where it ends.
Yeah.
So I just don't feel like that's my thing. Two, yes, Tatum is a good defender, elite defender,
Yeah.
but I don't think he's arguably the best defensive guard in the league or
Well,
in
yeah.
his position.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
obviously, no. Obviously, it's a bit arbitrary, but like I'm
Yeah.
saying, when you argue Tatum, it's like you're not gonna say, yeah, Tatum's probably one of the is the best defensive wing in the league. Nobody's saying, right?
Mm.
And I
I
know
don't think so.
wings are
But
usually better defensively
yeah,
than
you see
guards,
more 3 and D wings, I feel like, than 3 and
right?
D guards.
Which I respect, but I feel like with Shea, it's like, yo, this dude's gonna get you 2 steals and a block as a guard. That's
Yeah.
that's pretty impressive, while still being the number one option on a championship level team,
Yeah.
right? And he's gonna get you 31 points,
Uh-huh.
um, He can still pass better than Tatum, I'd say. Like, I think he's a better playmaker.
Yeah.
Rebounding, they're probably ironically relatively in the same spot,
Hmm.
which is maybe more about Tatum than it is
Yeah.
Shea. And 3-point shooting, I don't know. Here's the thing, right? I think Tatum's a better shooter, yes. But I
Yeah.
think with Tatum, he shoots too many threes. And that's what
Uh-huh.
brings his percentages down. So to a
Yeah.
casual viewer, they're gonna see, oh, Shea's shooting 39% from three. He's a better
Yeah.
shooter. But they don't know Tatum's taking freaking 9 threes a game,
Uh-huh.
which sometimes to his own like demise. And I feel like
Mm.
with Shea, he stays within his game so much, and that's why he's so efficient. Because he's one of the
Mm.
best finishers in the league. Like I know he might not do the Kyrie, but
Yeah.
his efficiency around the rim,
Hmm.
best guard in terms of that
Yeah.
efficiency. And then mid-range shooting, again, one of the best mid-range shooters in the game. I feel like he's better at picking his spots than Tatum, who will kind of just tween, take a step back three contested when I don't really have to do that, but I'm gonna just do
Hmm.
it anyways. You know? So with that in mind, I'd take Shea. That's my
And
explanation.
first things, that's just something I really respect about the Thunder teams. Like they're so young, but like they know what they're good at. So like they're not gonna be doing dumb shit because they know what they need to take advantage of. And for that being a young team, that's super impressive. But it also tells me Shea's just such a bitch. It's not gonna take the 3-point shot. That just tells me Shea's that's all I guys. Shea's a coward from the 3-point line. Tatum,
Oh,
if we're going band for band, who's got the bigger nuts? It sounds like it's Tatum in my eyes with that one. That's all I got. But yeah, no, it's just I still think Tatum's an elite defender as well. It's just with Tatum having more versatility in scoring, I'm just gonna take that over Shea. We're debating 5 and 6, but like when it gets to this range, the debates have to be had. Like it's not like a 20 versus 25, which I said earlier, but I'm still giving it to Tatum, especially with a little more of a longevity thing.
mm-hmm.
But then to move on, Luka versus Giannis. My logic I just have for the Tatum Shea, throw that out the window because
Oh my.
Giannis has clearly had the more success than Luka. But the one difference I have here is I know you can't really knock Giannis on this because like if you're like 6'10" and a freak of nature, abuse it. I just think Luka's more skilled than Giannis, so that's
Mm-hmm.
why I have him over Giannis. I think Giannis is the much better defender. We're gonna debate that. And his passing's honestly underrated, but I still trust Luka's passing more. Luka's definitely a more versatile scorer. And I just can't knock Luka. Like Luka still had playoff success when he's there, but his team sucked. This is the first I think legit team that he's had. So it's just Luka being more skilled than Giannis. That's why I put him over
Mm-hmm.
the Luka over Giannis. But it's just if you use my last argument, then yeah, Giannis should be over Luka. But I still think Tatum and Shea are equally skilled. But I just think Giannis is just a freak of nature and just knows how to play to that advantage.
Yeah.
So that's really my one big argument.
So, like I said, when you're arguing Giannis and Luca, it's not even really like it's kind of just a personal thing. I feel like at that
Mhm.
point.
Yeah.
But for me, like I've said in the past, I do value some sort of defense. Now, not to toe everybody, but like I do like players who are two-way, like
Yeah.
and Jokic being one. I don't think we have to talk about that, right? Like I think he's clearly
No.
one,
Yeah. We're
right?
not debating that.
So, but with Giannis and Luca, the defense does come into play for me. Like,
Mhm.
mind you, Luca's not even a shit defender anymore. Like he's a he's a okay defender,
Yeah.
right? Okay, he's not a cone. Let's just say that. But when we're talking about Giannis, I mean, we all know Giannis is. I'm not even considering his defense player of the year a few years ago, but
Mhm.
he's genuinely just a really good defender,
Yeah.
right?
I
He can
guess it's
shot
against the
block.
Grizzlies with 8 starters out.
I don't think that's a Giannis issue. That's a Doc Rivers not putting him on Jaren Jackson issue.
Now, is Giannis
Um,
afraid of Jaren Jackson Jr.?
oh my God, he doesn't know how good Giannis was.
Oh my God, face ass.
But no, for with Giannis, it's the defense thing. Like I'll
Mhm.
one offensively, I think Giannis can score as much as Luca. It's not gonna be like how Luca scores. Clearly, like Luca's
Mhm.
gonna do step back threes. I don't know, random just granny shots from the 3-point line,
Yeah.
floaters from the like he's gonna do a bunch of trick shot stuff, and that's what makes it more beautiful to the eyes. But Giannis is still gonna get those 30 plus points while just
Mhm.
running and dunking,
Yeah.
you know? So I don't really hold like a bag over something like when I'm arguing players, if they're both scoring relatively the same amount of points, even though one dude might do it prettier than the other,
Mhm.
I don't really care that much. Because at the end of the day, you're still putting up the points,
Mhm.
right? And then passing, Luke is definitely a better passer. I'm not arguing
Yeah.
that. But Giannis is low key a really good
No,
passer
he's
too. Like
underrated.
this season's been probably his best passing season. So I'm not gonna. that's not a huge separator, but I feel like the defense separation versus like the
Mhm.
playmaking separation is definitely bigger. And then I'm not going to talk about rebounding because we're talking about a 7-foot, 260-pound man versus a 6'7", like 220-pound
Who
dude.
gets
So
you
I'm not
10 a
going to
game?
exactly, which is kind of crazy too. Lucas still will
Mm.
get 10
Yeah.
boards, and Giannis will probably get 12. So
Mm.
you know, but I
I
think
think
just
I
it's really
think
the
it says more
defense.
about Luka than it does Giannis.
It probably does, but like I said, the biggest thing for me is just defense. Anything
Mm.
else, I'm kind of just reaching. Luka
Yeah.
probably is better than Giannis at those things, but the defensive argument is really what I have.
Yeah,
So,
my one big thing is I know Giannis is still going to get those points, but I feel like it would be easier to game plan a defense around Giannis and Luca because the
mhm.
game plan a defense around Luca is like, all right, we got to stop everybody else. With Giannis, like, all right, just make him shoot the three. Like, just let him run at you. Maybe he'll get some foul or something. So, like, I feel like it would it's easier to game plan Giannis and Luca, and that's why, like, yeah, I know his points are prettier, but he's
Mhm.
also just better scoring all around. So it's harder to game plan around. So that's why I think with Luca's skill, I have him over Giannis.
That's fair. I was gonna say something, but you kind of already said the logic thing went out the window. So I
Yeah.
guess like I was gonna say like, did you ever consider the Giannis championship or playoff
Uh-huh.
thing? But you already said out of here.
It's
So
that's what's just tough about top 30 lists is like with arguments you have with certain players, it's not always the same consistent argument with each scenario. It's like it's really hard to do a top 30 list if you cannot
mhm.
tell.
Yeah,
A real
I
quick,
can't
yeah.
lie,
What's up?
man.
This
I
list
don't
was
wish this
tough.
on my worst enemy, man. Top
Yeah.
30 is just like so
With a
hard,
microphone in
man.
front of you too.
Like, oh my
Like this ain't
goodness,
barbershop
bro.
talk no more. Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, real quick before we move on, we're gonna do a quick rundown of the top 30 just so you guys
Okay.
can just hear it all at the end.
Hmm.
Starting from 30 to 20 for my list. Here, I'll do my list first and then you do your list. So my
Perfect.
top 30 is Rudy Gobert, Laurie Markkinen, Damian Lillard, De'Aaron Fox, Paolo Banchero, Jalen Brown, Kyrie Irving, Bam Adebayo, Domantas Sabonis, and Tyrese Halliburton. My 20 through 11 is Trae Young, Jalen Brunson, Zion Williamson, Jimmy Butler, Victor Wembanyama, Ja Morant, Anthony Edwards, Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis. And then my 10 through 1 is LeBron James, Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, Steph Curry, Shea Gilgeous Alexander, Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Luka Doncic, and Nikola Jokic.
All right. Before I go, for anybody who hasn't been paying attention, only reason why Ja is not on my list is I didn't count him because he did not really play this season. He played like 7 games, but he would clearly be on this list. Just
Mm.
getting that out of the way. So my 30 through 21 is Scotty Barnes, Paulo Banchero, De'Aaron Fox, Carl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, Tyrese Halliburton, Paul George, Trae Young, Jalen Brown, and Zion Williamson. My 20 through 11 is Domantas Sabonis, Bam Adebayo, Jalen Brunson, Kyrie Irving, Victor Wembanyama, and Anthony. Oh, wait. All through 11. Yeah. Anthony Edwards, Jimmy Butler, Donovan Mitchell, and Devin Booker, and Kawhi Leonard. And then
Mm.
my top 10, or 10 to 1, is Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Jason Tatum, Anthony Davis, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Embiid, Luka, Giannis, and Nikola Jokic.
And that's going to be a wrap for the hardest segment we've ever done with the top 30 players in the NBA.
Thank you so much for tuning into this segment of the 5 Out Podcast. I am Joey the Master LeMaster, and me and Everton are so thankful for your guys' support. If you want to keep supporting us, please check out the full podcast on Spotify and follow our TikTok account. Both of those will be in the bio, and make sure to leave a like and stay smooth.